What's up, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to hop on a little bit of a live since I haven't done one in so very long. So, I wanted to read a little bit about, feel free to jump into the comments. I'm doing $10 readings. I wanted to read into a little bit about the solar eclipse that's going on. You also have Pluto and Mercury in retrograde. I believe eclipses are powerful turning points in our lives. It's going to open up a new path. I could totally feel that. I could totally sense that. You know? It feels almost as if like we're jumping timelines, if you will. And it's a solar eclipse of Taurus, which is fascinating. Solar eclipse occurs during the new moon phase, when the sun and moon position at the exact same degree within the same zodiac sign. So we have the sun in Taurus, we have the moon in Taurus. Which makes sense because if it's a lunar eclipse, or I should say, the new moon versus the full moon. If it's a full moon, then the moon we know is opposite the sun. Solar eclipse, meaning the sun, is being eclipsed by the moon. And even if you kind of break down the word here, solar eclipse, it's almost as if our souls are eclipsed by the moon. The moon has to do with emotionality. And so I've been noticing a call and a pull, to more so integrate the objectivity that we are capable of within our lives, as opposed to the subjectivity, which can be brought about through emotion, as it were. Okay? So, something to keep mindful of here. Let's see if anything wants to come out here. Spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light. Okay, we have the Justice card in the reverse position. powered by Libra, having to do with the 7th house, ruling planet Taurus, actually. Venus. Venus rules over Taurus and Libra. And so there is this kind of subjugation, there's this subjectivity here that is devoid of the wisdom of objectivity. And it's a constant balancing act because we do have our feelings and our emotions and our intuition, which is outside of thinking and feeling. When applied to more of the objective, intuitive approach, you even notice in language when people start off the sentence with, I feel this, that, and third. It's almost a culturally induced via language. William Burroughs said that language was a virus. Ten of Pentacles is here. This speaks to Virgo energy, ruling planet Mercury. Pentacles, as we know, has to do with something tactile, concrete, financial, physical. Ten of Pentacles tends are about completions or high watermarks, peaks. In this instance, it's in regards to a legacy, a family foundation, cornerstones to build upon, inheritance, 401k, dental plans, health insurance, things of this nature. I'm just looking at some of the planetary alignment here. So we actually have Mercury in Gemini in its home sign. She moved into Gemini on the 29th yesterday and will be in there until May 22nd. We have Venus, planet of love and money, in the sign of Pisces until May 2nd, a couple more days. She's been in there for about a month, since the 5th of April. Desire and relationships. So you could have been caught in the more fanciful fantasy end of desire and relationships for the past month. Maybe hoping and praying that a certain someone will come back. With Pluto and Mercury now in retrograde, I believe. Mars also in Pisces. For a little less than a month, from the 14th of April to May 24th, 2022. Jupiter in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces, and its home sign Pisces until 2025, March. Looking at the ifate.com current positions of the planets. Check out the newly updated and revised runningguntarot.com website. It's runandgguntarot.com, all one word, runningguntarot.com. Newly updated and relaunched. Got the moon conjunct the sun. Conjuncts are difficulty in choosing between opposing concepts or forces. You have both the sun and the moon in the sign of Taurus. Let's see what else, if anything, wants to come out here. We have the Four of Cups in the upright. Cancerian energy. Fours are about stability. Cups are emotion. This is also protectiveness over the heart space. The 6 and the 7 offset for an ace in the reverse. You could match that up with the justice in the reverse as well to get 2 swords in the reverse. Coming out of a decision-making process here, leading to new financial opportunities or developments. Got the 8 of Swords in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Excuse me. Could be some incoming finances that will allow for travel. An influx and increase in finances. Let's see what else wants to come out. Star card in the upright. So, we've just read, and let me take this call. Feel free to stay as a fly on the wall. Hi, this is Dylan. Good, how about you? Okay, what can I help you with? Okay, do you have a question that you want to start with or some background? Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let me see what comes out with the cards. 1 second. Let's- Yeah, I mean, I feel as though that this person is kind of just still in this energy of, I see this kind of player energy. So I feel as though he's just kind of showing his true colors. Um, Best case scenario, I think, for you is to just focus on your main priorities. And if he wants to show up, then he shows up. But if not, then it's like no need to give your power away by focusing on this person. So, people who care for us they're gonna make their presence known in our lives. But sometimes it's our responsibility to take a step back and make them prove themselves and not worry it. So, live your best life. And if he, Okay, we have the Six of Swords in the upright. Wanting to invest in travel, seeing which way the wind is blowing. Something was falling apart or coming tumbling down, having left a legacy, maybe having moved away, not able to do your daily duties. A lot of emotional manipulation here. Wanting to go at things in a solo way. Something wasn't growing. Three of Cups in the upright is reverted to party, drinking, not being emotionally receptive, going back into a circumstance of options and potential, manifesting, working smarter instead of harder. Why is this Temperance card in the reverse? What's the meaning behind this, Spirit? So the Divine Timing card in the reverse, we're always in divine timing, but it's the kind of man-made space and time that has us believe that we're not. And with the Page of Cups clarifying this Temperance in the reverse, this speaks to maintaining a spiritual practice or something that could anchor you in your divine timing. You can never be outside of divine timing unless, of course, you give away that kind of essential notion or state of being by choosing to believe the facade of not being in divine timing. So at any given moment, you are to trust that you are exactly at the height and the peak and the pinnacle of where you are meant to be. And anything contrary to that is just ego or agitation or, some sort of obsession or things like this. So we're talking about being in this state of options and choices, also a state of walking away from illusion and wanting to kind of go really into the real deal, the real work, which is transcendent. You'll have to transcend the self. You'll have to do toe-to-toe, hand-to-hand combat with the self. But it'll lead to greater blessings and rewards. Sometimes we fall victim and prey to certain ideas of perfection. And it's, these ideas that we too have to free ourselves from. An ideal relationship, an ideal job, an ideal way of feeling or being or looking. if anything else wants to come out. Yeah, incoming communication with the Eight of Rods here. Sagittarius energy. Eights are about abundance and new beginnings. And Jupiter currently in Pisces. Guys, if you're in the chat and you'd like a reading, just leave a comment. $10 readings tonight. So I'm also taking live calls on the one tarot channel that I work for. I was going to say 2, but I'm not actually logged on to the second one because I'm doing a live stream right now, obviously on this YouTube. And there's just a conflict with the chat window pop-ups and the video stream. It's too much for my computer to handle. So, and let's be honest, I mean, the rate isn't as good as the other channel that I read for, and as much as I could do with a live reading here if you guys choose to. So if you're watching this, $10 readings, just leave a chat. We could do it over the phone live, or we could just do it in the chat messenger box. It'll be fun. So we got back-to-back 8s coming out here. We got the 8 of Swords in the upright. This is usually a feeling of imprisonment. 8s are about thought, logic, reason. But the 8 can be a lifestyle. It can be newness. It can be abundance or restriction, depending on your interpretation. It's almost as if we're presented with this opportunity to jump in and out of dissimilar or cycles that we've once encountered. So newness or oldness, but it's kind of up to you, having done the inner work versus not, to decipher, hey, am I going to jump back in this kind of lower cycle, or am I going to level up and jump into a higher cycle? Some people are afraid to do so because, well, for whatever reason, it seems to be the human condition that has it so that, well, we're encountered with the unknown. Let me, take up smoking, or let me, drink myself to death, or something like this. But as opposed to, if you're like, no, I'm going to till the garden of life, and I'm going to construct my environment so that it's conducive to the life that I want to lead, and something that I could look back in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, a lifetime, and be proud of ultimately. My way of being, my lifestyle, etc., etc. So, whereas when we're caught in the conceptual mind, thought, the thinking self, as depicted with the 8 of Swords in the upright, then we are never able to achieve that which is beyond our fathomable limits. The 2 of Rods in the reverse is lack of future planning and forecasting. Now, it does speak to taking action because it points to the Ace of Rods in the upright, right? So anytime you're feeling trapped or stuck, or, the Ace of Rods, which again is being pointed to by the 2 of Rods in the reverse, suggests to remain the most empowered by taking action. And that's how you get out of this 8 of Swords in the upright. Ten of Cups in the reverse speaks to, I always liken it to something like being hanging on a wall, but it's just crooked. It's just like you can't enjoy it. And again, how often do we kind of self-sabotage by getting up in our heads and to the point where we can't even enjoy what's in front of us? So it's almost as if this person was so close to something that was just so kind of lovely, and yet it could be that they may have gotten in their own way. Oftentimes, we do so. But I see this as a good thing. I don't see this as a bad thing. I see this as the Ten of Cups in the reverse. You know how I read. Points to the Nine of Cups in the upright. Nines are about independence. Cups are emotionality. So this is an opportunity to truly stand on your own 2 feet emotionally, all right, and not run into a relationship or not settle even. Okay, and we could go even into how people handle situations where they're in a relationship and then they want to decide that they don't want to settle, and then they kind of remove themselves from said relationship in a very haphazard way, which is quite destructive. So there's a difference between that and a difference between, I think, kind of doing things the right way or an ethical way, which is to slowly kind of eke out an understanding of what you're getting yourself involved with or what you're getting yourself into. So we talked about moving haphazardly, hurting people. This is what this Three of Swords is in the upright. It's a sadness, sorrow, loss, forlorn, unrequited love, mourning. Although 3 is a creative number, this is the dark side of what our thoughts are capable of. Okay, you have the swords here. This is thought, logic, reason, piercing into the heart space, piercing into the heart chakra. So it's our duty to remove those swords. And how do we do that? We get present. And we bypass all those concerns that keep us from being present. It's a practice, though. It's a practice. Speaking of practice, I do think that what's called for in kind of overcoming ourselves, the human condition, the human mind, is having a spiritual practice, whether it's focusing on your breath, using your mantra, things like this. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that wants to come out here. We got the Ace of Cups in the reverse. This speaks to pouring out the fire, I think, in the heart space. Okay, it's almost as if your fire was doused. Somebody poured out their cup of feeling and emotion. Ultimately, I feel as though that this is a betrayal of trust here. And yet with the Nine of Cups, it's almost as if we're meant to be betrayed, if you will, or face this betrayal head on, so as to ultimately come to the realization that nothing can overcome us, and we are more than capable of living this life, quote unquote, alone or by ourselves or outside of relationship. With this emotional solo journey of the Five of Cups in reverse that we see here. And now you kind of embrace this loss or this sadness or this dousing agent because it makes you truly independent and strong. And one of the components of the Nine of Cups, depending on how you want to break it down, is that Five of Cups in reverse, which is the emotional, the emotionally solo journey or endeavor here. Speak to the King of Pentacles in reverse. This could be a stubbornness of resources or just an overall stubbornness in general. I almost feel as though this person or whoever this reading is resonating for, I feel as though somebody thinks that they could do better somewhere else. Okay. And I feel as though that somehow this mechanism of someone feeling as though that they could do better somewhere else was almost fated, in that the World card is now here. So the World card is like, good, you go and do that, I'm going to do this. And so now whoever kind of survived and jumped into a new cycle or some newness, I'm getting a distinction between someone that has actually done the work and somebody that just jumped into an old cycle. And so this person that did do the work, did pull themselves up energetically and got over energetically, will now receive whatever this incoming is. I'm not getting that this is just reserved for communication, Cupid's arrows, the Eight of Rods, and the upright. I'm getting that it's more so on the front of abundance here, because the tarot was communicating distinctly that the King of Pentacles is in the reverse. This is stubbornness, miserly energy. Okay, it could be with some semblance of doling out value. Okay, sometimes we surround ourselves with people that don't give us credit or don't validate the value that we have or that we bring to the table, in which case sometimes nothing is ever enough. So fascinating, because it's like, I'm getting like, come on, baby, light my fire. We talked previously that whoever you were in concert with, pardon the pun, quite literally poured out your fire. They doused your fire, rather, with this Ace of Cups in the reverse. This is how it looks in the upright, by the way. They poured their cup of love, their emotion, the water element, the bonded molecule. It's almost as if they poured it onto your heart, and they doused your, whatever that flame is. Maybe it was a twin flame connection, a karmic twin flame, actually. You see all this suffering here with the Three of Swords. Okay, somebody really did some damage. Well, you overcame that. You survived it. You got over somehow, some way, and now you have a plethora of candles, arrows, wands. Wands are the suit of fire here. This is the Eight of Wands in this deck. And I feel as though it's going to kind of spark, reignite that passion flame right here. Now the King of Wands is emerging here. Okay. This is a cool, calm, collective, objective, almost presence in this world card. World card is a graduation, a leveling up, a completion. You notice the watery emotionality of the imagery with these particular two variables here. Oftentimes, emotionality clouds our objectivity. You can argue that we're all here for some sort of objective purpose, and it's our duty to get out of our own way so as to fulfill that promise, so as to fulfill that objective duty, that meaning, that purpose. And yet, how is it that we could still have free will and freedom of choice? So the train track is there, but we could get off at any moment. Somebody continued to move further down the line because I think that they kept with their inner knowing. They stuck to their guns. They stuck to their principles, their morals, their values. They understood what was right. And so this dampening or this dousing of their own passions and end up becoming, a passageway to true adulthood and or transformation, a leveling up spiritually, in which case not to worry. There's more where that came from. And now that you're kind of leveled up, now you're showing up as this King of Wands in the upright. Cancerian Leo energy, by the way. Could be season or zodiac. The season is the summertime. A master manifestor, the King of Wands is. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. So what you're doing is you're illuminating that darkness here with the King of Wands. That's essentially what the King of Wands is doing. He's acting as a lighthouse through the heart space, leading with his heart, leading with light and love, illuminating the darkness within and without. As above, so below, as within, so without. That's the ancient hermetic principle of the magician. The hermit actually being the old magician in the tarot. The magician grows up to become the hermit. And so it's very interesting that, we talk about the world card here. The world card features fixed energy. We're talking Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo. Now we have some cardinal energy here with the Cancerian aspect. Cancerian leading into Leo season with the King of Wands in the upright. Now a cardinal sign doesn't have to be Cancerian, but in its essence is shifting. It's very dynamic, whereas a fixed sign is very stationary, if you will. Okay, the fixed signs tend to be the hubs of the zodiac, and all the surrounding play and circus occurs around them. I guess what I'm getting at is that there has to be some sort of recognition or encounter with this kind of fixed sign. Call it a challenge. And maybe it was meant for a cardinal sign or a mutable sign. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Taurus, Libra. This could have been a journey for a cardinal sign. And if you want to apply it to a mutable sign, feel free to do so as well. Mutable signs are Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo. It's almost as if there's a certain understanding or a spiritual lesson that each of the categories hold. For instance, if a fixed sign were to go through the cardinal sign challenge, I could imagine that because cardinal signs are dynamic, the fixed sign character that we're using in this example would ultimately have to go through this challenge successfully and thus learn the lesson of the cardinal sign, which is dynamism, movement, action. That's what the cardinals are known for. And so I could almost understand this kind of challenge to be the same for maybe a cardinal sign or a mutable sign, where they would have to learn that which the fixed sign is already kind of born with an inner knowing or understanding of, which seems to be some sort of universality that exists within them, regardless of changing circumstances external to themselves. Now, for a cardinal sign or a mutable sign, that could pose as a blind spot, something that they never even considered. Since, again, they're so used to being movers around the fixed sign. And so I guess what we're pointing at is the greater understanding that, yes, we might have some sort of we might be kind of partial to whatever our sun, moon, and rising signs are, but all of the zodiacs exist within us, as we all have houses 1 through 12 in our natal charts, just naturally. So for a cardinal sign to learn the lesson of this fixed sign challenge, which is how I'm feeling here with this layout, means that a cardinal sign would learn ultimately how to subsist without all the bells and whistles that a fixed sign is used to. A cardinal sign would have to learn the lesson of inner unchanging stability. Because like the flame here, it's dynamic, it's flickering, it's fading, it's on or off. Okay, so, like in those old video games where you would conquer a certain test or a challenge or a boss, and you would acquire their skill set, or you would acquire whatever knowledge or understanding that they had, and it would now be incorporated into your character. So now, once you're able to kind of find that universal stability within you, if you are a cardinal or a mutable sign, or feel free to apply whatever it is that you're going through if you're a fixed sign, universal dynamism or trying to conjure what the mutable sign version of mutable signs, to my understanding, are like conjunctions. They're like the ands and the buts. They in a sentence, they're connectors, and they're also famously known for going with the flow of things. Your Pisces, your Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo. I wouldn't say followers, but they're good at moving with the pack. So maybe a mutable sign would be independence. Okay. Following their own leadership as opposed to trends. Let's see what else wants to come out. And like I said, if you're in the video lobby watching this, feel free to reach out for a one-on-one reading, $10 readings. Just leave a comment, or you could call me. I got my phone here. You can do a live reading or in private. So now moving further, we have this Six of Rods in the reverse here. Leo, summertime energy. This has to do with morality, ethics, a personal victory here. Okay? Points to the 5 in the upright. The 5 in the upright has to do with conflict, pettiness, challenging, competitive energy. 10 of Rods in the upright here now, having to do with death and transformation, a personal rebirth. Also Sagittarius energy. Just getting a lot of newness from these cards. Another chance at fulfilling an ideal, but this time a better understanding of how to go about it the right way. And I think that the right way is a slow and concerted effort in relationship. 2 cups in the upright. Now, famously, this can be in reference to a business partnership, a romantic relationship. It could be platonic, could be friends, family. This could even be an old relationship resurgence. We are in Pluto and Mercury retrograde. Retrogrades famously for people from the past coming back. Now, I would never kind of suggest that you wait, bated breath, or put off your happiness. But this is an eclipse zone, this period of time that we're in which cases eclipses, I believe, are known to bring people in and out of our lives. The Nine of Pentacles in the reverse speaks to being swept up, off the market, no longer single. Now, if we're talking just straight finances, this is maybe some sort of financial dependence. Not necessarily at that status of financial freedom and independence that one would like. Get the sense that somebody doesn't want to do the bar crawl. Someone doesn't want to restart with a relationship. Is what I'm getting with this Ace of Rods in the reverse, with this Three of Cups in the reverse. Someone's outgrown this, and they don't want to start over again. Needless to say, that could be conducive to finding someone that's kind of just on the same level, in the same phase of their life. Eight of Rods wanting to come out again. This is Cupid's arrows, incoming communication, lifestyle, abundance, newness. As a result of having fought for something, having stuck to your guns. On the secular end, this could be really pulling in some soul tribe members, an influx of resources. Loss of subjectivity here with the High Priestess in the reverse, and unwillingness to move emotionally. Still plenty of fears to be conquered. As I say that, of course, the Devil card comes out. Two that wanted to come out here. The Seven of Pentacles in the upright, the Star card in the upright. Yeah, I'm getting a slow and steady wins the race. And like a repurposing. The potential to repurpose from where you're at. Especially with this Tower card in the reverse. using this fallout to be the foundation for this, which is interesting. Because all kind of practicality would say, oh, we have to completely and utterly just kind of leave the scene of the crime or revamp or something of this nature. You know? And yet I'm getting the sense that you're wanting to, instead of running away, do what you said you were going to do. Prevail in the way that you said you were going to prevail. Why is this devil card here still? Why is this devil card here still? Ooh, now it's coming out in the reverse. It's interesting. It's almost as if like the place of your imprisonment or captivity will now be the stage for your personal freedom, gain, and development. Because you repurposed it. Special emphasis on the word purpose. Yeah, I'm definitely getting like a if you build it, it will come type initiative. This Ace of Cups in the upright. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm seeing this times two here. Or because you stuck to your ethics and on the right side of history, and you're going to be rewarded. You're going to be blessed. See this knight coming to this, and then you see this Ace of Cups coming to this Six of Rods in reverse. Very interesting. Okay, guys, that was just an impromptu live stream. As always, feel free to like, share, follow, subscribe. Reach out to your boy for a one-on-one reading. Love and light to you guys. Peace.